Well, of course, Avengers Doomsday is on the way. And, we've talked a lot about ticket sites crashing, and now they are projecting that this is going to eclipse Spider-Man Brand New Day's opening weekend box office record. Some people even whispering the number 400 million as an opening weekend, which I think sounds mathematically impossible, but I'm not going to write off anything at this point. Well, it is an Avengers movie, and as such, it kind of is the culmination of a number of things. And so Marvel decided to put out an official list, homework, if you will, for people, of 15 things you are supposed to watch. 15 things you are supposed to watch before going in to watch Avengers Doomsday. Now, one of the things that I've always said, guys, the nightmare of a cinematic universe is you have to make sure you avoid ever putting out something that requires homework for an audience to go see it. Well, Marvel's got homework for you. 15 films, 15 projects you're supposed to see. Let's take a look at seeing what they say you need to watch to go watch Avengers. They're saying this in no particular order. You got to watch the original X-Men. You got to watch X-Men 2. Notice that they're not saying X-Men 3. You have to watch Captain America, the First Avenger. You got to watch the Avengers. You got to watch Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Notice, you don't have to watch Ultron. Maybe they'll put that on the homework list to watching Vision Quest. You got to watch Loki on the TV side. You got to watch Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. You got to watch Spider-Man No Way Home, which may or may not suggest to the audience about some people that might pop up in Doomsday, but they're saying Marvel's saying you got to watch Spider-Man No Way Home. You got to watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever. You got to watch Captain America Brave New World, which I guess you got to understand, hey, wait a minute, why is Sam wearing the shield? You got to watch Deadpool. You got to watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you got to watch Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. You got to watch Thunderbolts. Yeah. Understandably, they're some of the main characters in this one. And you got to watch Fantastic Four First Steps, which is understandable because there's a bunch of characters here that have been introduced in something else. All right, look. Rob, one of the things that went through my head when going over, I guess it's been about a year now, going over everything that happens in Doomsday. One of the things that really stood out to me was, one of the really good things about Doomsday is I feel like while they will not catch every inference and they won't catch every wink and they won't catch every reference, I feel like this is getting back to Marvel's bread and butter, where a new viewer could honestly just jump in and watch it and not feel lost. They won't understand the relevance of everything that's going on in the scenes, of course, but I feel like this is a story that if you didn't know anything else, you could probably step in and never feel lost. Like the movie will keep you up to date. They'll let you know what you need to know along the way, and you'll be good. Now, somebody who does know the library of the MCU will probably get more out of it.
Sure.
But I feel like
they understood that reference.
Yeah, they're getting back to not needing. They're getting back to not needing to do homework before jumping in and watching it. There's some interesting things here on this list. Loki, I mean, I get, because Loki and his role currently in the universe, probably got to have a little bit of an understanding of that, get it.
And the TVA.
And the TVAs. There's a couple of key moments that involve the TVA. Shang-Chi tells me that he's not just going to be fighter number 5 in the background. There's going to be, Shang-Chi is going to have a relevant role to play in this movie, which is great. Spider-Man No Way Home, talking about incursions and other worlds and stuff like that, much like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think those are the projects that kind of lay the foundation of that. Deadpool and Wolverine also has a little bit of that, dealing with multi-universal stuff. Captain America Brave New World, again, introduced Sam as the new Captain America. and of course the new Falcon and things like that, and understanding that why there are two Avengers teams. Well, this is a movie that's going to help explain that, as well as Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, of course, because we get introduced to them. I don't know about Infinity War and Endgame or First Avenger, or I guess you should know who the X-Men are, but this is a pretty long list, Rob, of things they're saying you got to do as homework. Somebody asked me, I think on the show a few weeks ago, and they said, John, if you had to say there were like 3 things that you should really make sure you watch before watching Doomsday. And I said, well, maybe Infinity War and Endgame, just to kind of make sure you're up to speed. And probably maybe Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, because that's where we're at. But I think you're good otherwise. What do you think about this list? What, if anything, on that list is standing out to you as like, oh, that's interesting, the Marvel put this on the list? And had somebody asked you, what are like maybe 3 things I really should watch before watching this, what would you say to that?
That's a lot. Well, first of all, I would say what's interesting about this list is there is a fun factor involved. You know, the fact that you can now do some homework, and over the next 4 months, you can sit down and watch these in order. And I do think that there's more in these movies about setting up the mechanisms for what's actually going on. For instance, like the idea that the villains in No Way Home were pulled out at the moment of their own deaths, you know,
right.
and that they were brought into our universe, and that their fate is involved. And the thing with Loki, it explains the TVA and the sacred timelines and what incursions all mean. And I think that while I don't think you need to watch anything to understand what's going on in Avengers Doomsday, but there's so much world building that it would help that if you understood more concepts rather than plot. And there's a lot of conceptual stuff in all of these movies that help you, because the culmination of what is an incursion? What does this mean? You know, there's multiple Earths involved, and there's different characters involved. And where did the X-Men come from? Well, if you saw The Void, you met Gambit. And so there's all this backstory and understanding of how the universe works. That's what I think they're trying to do is allow you to have a more, the German word Gestalt. You understand the Gestalt of it all before you have to sit down and watch. For the casual moviegoer. And hey, look, you know what? For a family to be able to sit down and prepare to go to Doomsday and have this,
it's fun.
You know, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Like I would say for Marvel, it's kind of fun. You can talk about, well, what do all these things mean? How does it all work together? Because if you watch Deadpool and if you're watching Deadpool 1 and 2, you get it. But when you get to Deadpool and Wolverine, what is the Void? Who is Cassandra Nova? What is going on? Where have they gone? What is the TVA? Who are these people Deadpool's killing at the beginning of that movie? So I think that it's good that they're doing all this. That said, I don't think you need to watch any of it to enjoy Doomsday. I think you'll just get it and you'll be able to infer what's going on. Doomsday's a bad guy. He's manipulating time, and things go wrong. Or right, depending on who you are.
This meme reminds me of like, one does not simply watch Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, right.
But you know, we live in an age too where you can go onto YouTube and do breakdowns of all these movies. There's breakdown videos of the entire MCU.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch that a couple of times or watch a couple different ones, you can do that and save some time.
I watched a great breakdown of When Time Runs Out and Secret Wars. Somebody did it was a comic book breakdown.
Oh, I love those.
But if you watch it, it was like a half an hour long. That too pretty much tells you exactly what's going to happen in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Not exactly. You can see how it's going to move around, but now you have an understanding of what we're in for.
Okay.
It was really good.
Look, I know I've said this before. Okay. I know. But I don't know if it has ever been more applicable than it is right now. This movie should start with a 3.5 minute Luis breakdown and summary of everything from Endgame up until Doomsday. It should be Luis and Paul Rudd sitting in a bar somewhere. And
maybe release it online and not in the movie.
You didn't know what they needed to do.
Attached to the movie.
I would not do that. What I would do is bring back the beloved special presentation. They could have done a summer special presentation and it's Luis breaking down everything.
But it's got
Like
but
you
a
said,
3-minute special presentation because he does it
So
so
it wouldn't
quick.
be like 50 minutes. Yeah, you'd have to be like a
Yeah,
shorter one. But
I would
yes.
love to see that, dude.
Public service announcement.
I'd be all for it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Marvel put out their homework list. Have you seen everything on the list? I'm sure some of you have probably seen everything on the list 4 or 5 times. Are there some gaps in there that you're thinking, oh, I should go back and catch up on that one or two that I haven't seen yet? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.